Now that's a win right there. That's a win to be proud of by the Miami Dolphins. To be a Dolphins fan and to finally beat the Bills again. The first time since 2022, since that crazy game in 2022, the Miami Dolphins finally beat the Bills again. It happened at home, and it happened in dominating fashion. Now, look, you can complain all you want about tanking, and you're not going to get the better draft pick, and you're not going to get this, and you're not going to get that. Who cares? Who cares? It's the Bills. F the Bills. We don't like the Bills. They gave us hell through and through, knocking us out of the wild card, knocking us out of getting home field advantage during the playoffs to where we had to play the Kansas City Chiefs in illegal weather, knocking us out of just the playoff, the wild card game itself, just giving us hell through and through. Josh Allen giving us hell year after year, and we finally did it again at home. We let those Bills fans that want to go take over Miami, go take over South Florida. They don't know the difference between South Florida, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale. They go to the Elbow Room. They try to take that over. They try to take over Hard Rock Stadium. No. That's not going to happen. We're going to walk into our house and show them why it's our house. And that's what happened today. Dolphins 30, Bills 13, and that's how we do it right there. Now, starting the game, I thought we were going to get smoked. Because first play of the game is some bullshit ref calls by Alec Ingold motioning, but it was called a false start, even though the defense jumped on that play, so they called it a false start on Ingold. And then we had Tua looking jittery in the pocket, throwing it to Waddle. There was no one around him, and he just threw it to Waddle. Then we had the chuck up on third down for a pick to start the game. Terrible way to start the game, but the defense got the stops consistently to start the game and throughout the game, which was amazing. The defense just showed you what they can be. You know, despite Jalen Phillips being traded, losing Jalen Phillips, losing Rasul Douglas, probably their best cornerback, losing Chop Robinson for this game out with, I believe, a concussion. The defense stepped up. Bradley Chubb did his thing. I loved what I saw from the DBs. I hated Jack Jones. I hated Jack Jones. He's a walking DPI. He's a walking burn. But guess what? He stepped up. He was amazing. Minka was amazing. Juju Brents he wasn't on the team till this game. Big ass cornerback, step up making plays, locking shit down. That's what I love. Jordan Brooks, 12 tackles. Dotson was flying around. You know, Minka coming off the edge, getting pressure on Josh Allen multiple times. That's what I love. That defense was flying around and soaring to the football, and they wanted that win. You could tell they wanted that win. And so did the offense. The offense did their thing. A-Chain, one of his best games. He had 2 crazy breakaway touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns, 174 yards rushing, and 51 yards receiving. Waddle did his thing. He's the one who got us going, you know. Hit him for the nice drive to start the first down. Then Tua hit him with an absolute bomb. Perfect bomb. Led him all the way to the back of the end zone. In his hands. Touchdown. And it was a DPI on that play. That's the stuff you love right there. Tua dying up, throwing seeds, doing his thing, completing the ball around, but it was also the run game was working. A-Chain and the run game was able to work with that 6-man package with Brunskill coming in, and then it was able to get that play action going, and then it was able to get the deep ball more open, and that's what happens when you're able to sustain a run game, and that's what the Miami Dolphins did, and that's what the Bills were sustainable to coming into this game, and that's what we had success with in the Thursday night game, before we had to get into an obvious passing situation late in the game, and you know what happened. But as I said, the offense did their thing, but I really loved the defense. That's been the soft spot of this team. The defense, they sucked. They've been atrocious, getting burnt left, right, and middle and center. But they did it. They put together a great game, and they showed emotion. They showed toughness. They showed heart. Coming in 2-7 off the trade deadline and getting it done. Holding Josh Allen the Bills to 13 points, a late touchdown. That was great. And they got the pick in the red zone. They were creating fumbles for Josh Allen. Josh Allen had 2 fumbles this game. He was fumbling, rumbling the ball. They were pop shotting that ball out of him. Got rid of that pop shot, saw what happened. Let's go. Miami Dolphins, great defense victory. Great defense, great. I love the offense. The only thing was 2 picks, but one of them I liked it. I like the quarterback. Now you know what? Third down. I don't see nothing open. Fuck it. Let's give it a shot. Maybe we'll get a DPI call. Maybe we'll get lucky. Fuck it. Just punt the ball. Punt the ball with his arm. He had to show off that arm on the first drive. I didn't like the pick. But The second pick I wasn't too mad about. But the first drive, it looked like he was just trying to show off his arm talent, silence some haters. Even though he's not on social media. Silence some haters. But yeah, great overall game from the Dolphins. Now, you can say, like I said earlier, you can say this is going to, we're not going to make the playoffs. Most likely, we're not going to make the playoffs. Even though I smoke hopium for a living, we're not going to make the playoffs. And this is going to ruin our draft pick. And maybe it's the difference between getting Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson if we go that route. But the reality is we're probably not going to go that route. We have to at least for one more year after this with the guaranteed money and stuff. And we're not going to pick a quarterback, and who cares? We just beat the Bills. Coming into the season, you didn't want to tank anyways. Division was not tanking. You weren't going to expect to have a top 5 pick because we did it on purpose. Because we wanted it on purpose. So who cares? Just take the ride. The Dolphins are going to take you on a ride. It's going to be lots of lows, and you'll get that peak. And we got that peak, and we love that peak. And that peak was beating the Bills. And hopefully we can carry this over to Madrid and win another game. And then go to the Saints, win another game. And you'll see something from this defense, and hopefully maybe the culture change. It takes a while for a culture change to be installed into a team. Hopefully that's what we saw, is a culture change, and we saw them fight and be able to come out with heart and show fight despite having a 2-7 record. And you know what else we saw? We saw the ability for Mike McDaniel and Anthony Weaver, Mike McDaniel most importantly as the head coach, to will his team together to have the fight and to put together this kind of game despite being 2-7. Because a lot of teams and their players would give up. But Mike McDaniel, he's proven us that he can control the locker room. Coming off of a terrible loss against the Browns, we were able to come out and smoke the Falcons. Coming off of a terrible loss to the Ravens on primetime Thursday Night Football, we were able to come out and dominate one of the best teams in football, a team that just beat the Chiefs, a team that's a Super Bowl contender, a team that we've had problems with year after year. We were able to finally get the job done, and not only get the job done, but dominate them. It wasn't a close victory. It wasn't a loss where they reeled you in and then they fell apart. No, we dominated them, and we won the game. Put 30 on the Bills, only allowed 13 points, and that's what's about. So most importantly, if we learned one thing from Mike McDaniel this season, one positive is he's able to rally the team together after tough losses. Now, here's what else I have to say. I loved the defense. I loved the offense. But man, Riley Patterson, dude. Missed an extra point? Come on. When is Jason Sanders coming back? We would have took that 60-yard field goal if Jason Sanders was coming back. But Jake Bailey, on the other hand, amazing game. Putting the Bills back again and again. And having them to compete for tough field position. But also the other downside I had, besides what I just said, is we're letting Josh Allen run around like he was Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson. It looked like he was playing Madden on rookie mode in some of these plays. Being able to run around and then convert the 4th down, that was pissing me off. Can we just be able to get the sack there? It's just sometimes we're just not getting enough pressure. We need some more pressure. But that's what happens when Jalen Phillips, is gone and Chop is gone and all that. And Judon's old. But also, it's probably a big relief for those guys like Minka, Jalen Waddle, A-Chain, and Bradley Chubb. Those 4 guys had really good games. And it's probably a burden off of their shoulders to know, okay, my family's staying put here. I'm staying put here for the rest of the season at least. For 6 more months at least, I'm going to be in Miami. That it's probably like a big lift off of their shoulders to know that you're staying here. You're out of the trade talks. You don't have to move your stuff. You don't have to worry about fitting in with another team. And it looked like they were playing more free. Those 4 players were our best players this game. A-Chain, Waddle, Minka, and Bradley Chubb. Those 4 players. 2 on offense, 2 on defense. And those 4 players were the ones in trade talks. And you know what? Now that trade deadline is passed, the talk is far away. Now they're able to solely focus on the games in front of them. And this is their first game out of that trade talk. And they played amazing. Probably played each individually their best games of the season. And also Chris Greer's out the door, so that automatically gives us a boost in plus. Now let's get to the players of the game. My big-time player of the game on offense was Devon A-Chain. 22 carries, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. He put the game on ice with one touchdown, and then he froze the game with the other touchdown. The first touchdown, we were up 6-16. Was in the fourth quarter, 59-yard rushing touchdown for Devon Achane, makes it 6-23. He put the game on ice right there. But then the Bills scored, a little close, 10-point game, 3 minutes left. Devon Achane, I'll take this into my own hands. 35-yard rushing touchdown to freeze the game. Absolutely amazing. Now, you wouldn't be surprised with my defensive one. Yeah, you think it would be Minky, you think it would be Chubb, you think it would be something. No. It's Jack Jones. I hated Jack Jones. Absolutely hated Jack Jones. Because he's a walking DPI. He sucked. But this game, he was amazing. He might have got burnt one time or two. It happens. You're a DB. Most vulnerable position in football. But guess what? He had that fumble. I think it was James Cook. He called that fumble with James Cook. And then the other one, he was holding up Josh Allen for the other linebacker to come out and knock the ball on Josh Allen. He had 2 tackles for loss, 6 total tackles. I'm giving my defense player of the game, to Jack Jones. That's a way to step up. He had the video early in the week. Go to somewhere you want to be treated how you want to be treated. Or go to somewhere that appreciates you. Well, you can come over to my house for Thanksgiving because I appreciated you this game. Alright? Jack Jones, defense player of the game. Devon Achane, offensive player of the game for me. And you know what? Here's the other thing I got from Mike McDaniel's post-game press conference. It is how this team was able to will a victory like this, especially with this record.
They've chose to believe throughout the whole thing, throughout the whole offseason. They've made that decision to continue to believe and continue to invest in each other. My belief, just in football and in life, is that is paid back to you if you have the steadfast nature and mental fortitude and toughness. Ironically, a lot of
And that's all I have. That's all I have. A great Dolphin victory, 30-13. Dolphins at home, able to kick those Bills fans back to Buffalo, where no one wants to go. We're not even gonna go over and infiltrate that shit because who wants to be in Buffalo? All they got is wings. Did they even invent them? Probably not. Dolphins, great game. Able to get up early, 16-0. Able to get up early, 16-0, and maintain that lead throughout, even adding on some points with 2 big Devon Achane rushing touchdowns. Amazing game. Defense was able to keep us in the game, through the first half. Made them go scoreless through 3 quarters. The Bills only scored in the 4th quarter. And this was the first time the Miami Dolphins won the turnover battle. And this is the first time since the Panthers game that we've created multiple turnovers in a game. So it was a great game all around for the Miami Dolphins. I love this win. Complain about it all you want. Complain about draft positioning. But we just beat the fucking Bills. And the fucking Bills have owned us forever. And I hate the Bills. And I don't ever want them to win against us. And I don't ever want them to win in general. So why do you want them to win at us in our home? Let's get that dub. We finally got another dub. Mike McDaniel has saved his job for at least another 3 weeks. See you in the next one.